is changing, the world's on fire. I want to do my part to inspire change.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ignite Illuminator series. My name is Alice Van Blockland. I'm a partner in Ignite Transformative Events, and I'd love you to meet my other partner.
Hi, I'm Maggie Reedy, and I'm a psychotherapist, author, and a wonderful partner to Alice in Ignite Transformative Events.
Today, we're really thrilled to have with us Narissa Young. Narissa Young, hi Narissa, resides part-time in the Nanaimo area in Vancouver Island and part-time in Greece, and you're going to get to hear all about that. But before we go there, I want to give you a bit of a bio. So Narissa is a passionate creator, collaborator, and sound therapy practitioner, and she shares her passion for working therapeutically with sound and vibration. From a career as a vocalist, musician, and songwriter, she went on to complete an associate's degree in sound healing with an additional certification in vibro-acoustic therapy. The Sea of Sound Studio, this is her business, is where she helps others create a healing relationship with sound through one-on-one sessions. An innovative leader, she is expanding to include consulting services, group and international retreat experiences, and I'm really excited that she's going to tell us about her next one. Narissa is on a purpose-driven path to help people feel their best so they can create the life they desire. So welcome, Narissa.
Thank you. Nice to see you both.
Well, we just are so excited to have you with us because we are attracting and inviting illuminators. And we define illuminators as women of a certain age that are heading into the third chapter of life with clarity, purpose, passion, creativity, wellness, abundance, joy, and their flame on fire. So I see that you already fit that category on so many levels in what you're creating. And please tell us more.
Well, it's true. As we enter this time, there's no time to mess around. that's there's a sense of like, now's the time.
If not now, when?
Yeah. And it's a time in the world too that all the light is needed.
Yes.
And all the women like us who have been hiding their gifts or staying in other roles and not allowing themselves to explore their gifts. It's time. The world needs everybody's authentic gift now.
Absolutely.
Especially the creative ones, after such a long period of masculine-driven energy and goal-oriented culture. It is definitely time for creative expression to really shine through and let us lead.
Mm-hmm. So what lights you up at this time in your life?
Well, what lights me up is possibility. In my work, I love that moment where someone has, and in my own work too, where I recognize a spark of possibility. It's like I can see a light that was there before, and then I all of a sudden I see it full. And this is an idea. So this is when an idea shows up and I begin to expand on that. So that moment of possibility, it's like a birth moment. It happens in the work as well. When I have somebody that has a breakthrough, they have a shift in their perception. They have a moment where they feel like themselves again. Yeah. And that's that moment where some of those layers, those other identity layers, stressors are removed, and they go, wow, I'm me. I'm back in my body. I know this girl. I know this person.
It's like a returning home. It's like a full circle back.
It's like a tuning.
Yes. And speaking of tuning, I would love for you to share, what does your practice look like? Tell us everything about it.
Okay, so on a daily basis, so what my studio sessions look like is when a client reaches out to me, it's generally because they have tried a bunch of things, or they are on a path of looking for what fits for them. And aren't we in a great time with so many modalities, and there's, you know, it's, you really can look and find out what works for you. It's not one is over the others. My practice is very much in harmony with a lot of others in that it can actually improve other modalities. It can actually make other modalities work better, because if I send a person in that's already feeling balanced, grounded, and closer to a homeostasis way of being, whatever therapy or medical or anything that they have to do after that is going to work better. It's very complementary. So generally people are coming to the studio because they're having troubles with stress related stuff. I mean, that's huge. I don't think anybody's immune right now. Well, there is a small island in Greece that, we'll get to that. So generally stress related, right? That's anxiety, that's the belly troubles, that's the sleep stuff, that's the overwhelm. I've got a client going through a really stressful time, and she's handling it beautifully. She's reaching for all the right support, and that includes her weekly sound session. So it's there for navigating through those times. I personally will be on the table later today as a practice. So that's what's getting me through a stressful time in the last couple of weeks, right? When people come in, I actually do a voice analysis. So I have a software that I take a sample of their voice. They answer 3 questions for me. And the software tells me where the musical notes are in their voice. So it shows all 12 musical notes and how they're distributed. So if you think about acupuncture and the 12 meridians, for example, it's interesting that 12 keeps coming around. The 12 musical notes are represented in our voice all the time, but in different ways. They're represented when you look at the graph, it's represented differently when we speak about something that's stressful, when we speak about something joyful, when we speak about something with no emotion. All 3 of those graphs will look different. So in my practice, I get the 3 questions, get them put together to get our averages. And then by way of resonance, I'm actually going to find the most needed note in their overall chart. And I'm going to feed them that through the vibro-acoustic table and through some of the other instruments in the studio. We sometimes use our voices, sometimes just me, sometimes I include the client if they're willing. And so by way of resonance, right? So you know that sympathetic resonance, if I have a guitar here, it's not open yet, but if I had a guitar right here, and I sang the note of the E string, that E string would resonate. So that's sympathetic resonance. This is exactly what we're doing in vibroacoustic. We're recognizing the most needed note or frequencies, and we are singing that into the body. Anytime you do that, you feed that cell or that system, you feed it energy, right? We're singing in a choir, and Maggie, you've been asked to sing the note of D, and you're not sure about it, and you're a little bit quiet, maybe your pitch isn't quite on, and I'm really strong, and I stand beside you and sing that note of D strongly, you will get stronger. So that's what we're doing for the body. So we're strengthening the systems that need a more resonance so that they can get back at their best functioning, get the whole body back in balance.
I love that. In my world, we talk about co-regulation.
Yeah.
And when somebody is, here's our brain, and when we're dysregulated, we're like, and we're in here, right? We're in our lower brain. And what we need is, somebody to come and be that, and then we can borrow benefits. We can get stronger from somebody else's energy. And so that's what you're talking about, that you're speaking my language in a different way.
Yeah, it is a form of resonance for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
coming back to the idea that everything is frequency, it really makes sense to me what you were describing as the choir and that attunement and that resonance, and we're all vibrating and we're always all vibrating at different levels throughout the day, right? Some people
Mhm.
wake up like my husband and he's just wide awake, he's alert, he's ready to go, and he starts talking, and I'm like, I'm not that place yet. Let me have some breakfast and some coffee, and then
Yeah.
I start to resonate, and in no time we're both vibrating similarly, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same with the emotional piece. And you also shared with me earlier, Narissa, a beautiful story of a gentleman who was having extreme pain. And you had him on the table and you were doing this, you did the software with him, and then you started your therapy and you started to share more about that. Do you want to just give a recap of that story for our viewers?
Well, the vibroacoustic is quite remarkable. Right now, I also have a client in a wheelchair who's using a portable unit at home, and he's keeping data.
Wow.
So he's got it now into his third week. I can speak about his experience. And I see similar on the table for sure. He has a radiating nerve pain
Okay.
that he doesn't want to be taking so many pharmaceuticals for. He wants to find other ways to manage it. And the pain disappears when he's on the cushion. He also has reported so far, and I haven't seen the rest of his data. We're giving him another week to really get some nice stuff. But he said right away he started sleeping better. So if all I did every week was help people sleep better, that's a big win. Because they're going to be in more repair state in their body. They're going to wake up clearer, more emotionally balanced. Digestive is going to work better. Everything. So that's one of the big wins from vibroacoustic. Is it lovely when you lay on the table for half an hour? Yep. It's like a little sonic spa. It's like a little massage from underneath. You listen to something on headphones, usually not always. Sometimes I just use frequency on the table. But the studio is full immersive surround as well. So I've got a number of different programs I can run. One might be a specific targeted frequency for migraines, for example. And for that, I wouldn't want that person listening to a whole bunch of things, looking at a whole bunch of colors, right? So I really have to tune in carefully to how many layers are applied. But I would say the bulk of the sessions are what's called vibroacoustic with music. And that does mean you're with an eye mask, tucked all in, the bed is cozy, headphones, you're going to be listening to a composition that is also going through the table. So you're feeling what you're hearing. So that creates a lot of coherence in the body when all of those signals are being received.
Can you say more? You mentioned colors. What do you mean?
Well, color therapy can be incorporated into it. So I have a colleague in the States who has a big screen in her studio, and she is doing single frequency combined with color therapy. So the screen has whatever color therapy she's working with for that client, or
Wow.
a multiple, like maybe a chakra program or something like that.
Okay.
So red light therapy is also crossing over now into, because really it's all frequency, right?
It's all frequency.
So I know I have another colleague in the States that's using red light therapy in sessions. So now just the phrase that I drive home with every client, and certainly the ones that take the units home, is less is more. This is why I start with the layer. I want to see what's going on in their voice and in their body. That software was developed by a naturopath. It is bang on, almost 100% of the time. I don't do an intake and tell me everything that's going. Well, I do an intake, because I'm a professional, but I don't. Before I do the voice analysis, I actually don't read their intake. I actually get straight. So I'm not influencing any result. I'm not making any assumptions about how they're feeling, right? I get the data first. I look at their intake, I go through, okay, so you've got this and this is happening and these are your medications. And then we look at the chart together and I say, well, this is low, and that's connected to your liver or blah, blah, blah. This note is high and your adrenals are on overdrive. And they all the time they go, whoa, yes, that's. And then, so then I follow up with, okay, well, this is your most needed note. And here's some facts about what's going on with this note when it's low. And they just go, that's totally me. That's me. Okay,
Wow,
let's get to
that's incredible. That's
I
incredible.
know. I want to
it
go
really
up
is
there.
it's a
I do
very,
too. We're going
yeah.
on a road trip, Alice.
Yeah,
We're
there
getting
you
on the
go.
table.
It's a very elegant assessment tool. Again, developed by a naturopath. She's into her 70s and still doing the training. She's very passionate about her work. And she also gives, one of my favorite things with the program is she gives a list of resources of vitamins, minerals, and amino acids and all the frequencies. So if I find that your C is deficient at 136.82, I go to my list and figure out what supplement will benefit you the most. And often it's very simple. And then I'll look up nutritional sources of that or whether a supplement is more appropriate, make my recommendations on that. Very basic stuff. Yeah.
How long have you been doing this? How long have you
Hmm?
been doing this, Narissa?
I opened my business in the beginning of 2022.
Wow. And
Yeah.
how did you get inspired to go in this direction?
This was a pandemic plot twist.
I like that expression.
Yeah. So in April of the pandemic, so up till then, I had been a very busy vocalist, songwriter, performing. I had just written or just recorded an album. Actually, we were in the studio when the weekend everything shut down in March. And so I just recorded an album. We were getting ready to tour a Diana Krall tribute show as a 5-piece.
Wow.
We had sold out the first show, and actually the second show was going to be in Nanaimo. It sold out a week in advance, and we had to cancel that. And of course, any remaining opportunities for that. In April, so it wasn't very long, my piano player and I were accustomed to getting together every week for a few hours for rehearsal anyways. We were always working on new charts and whatnot. And so we got together a couple weeks after everything shut down. We got together and did our music, and we went, wow, I feel so much better, just after singing for a couple hours. And he said, yeah, me too. And I said, like, we can't just keep this to ourselves. Right now, people are confused and scared, and there's a lot of chaos. I said, let's come next week and we'll put the PA outside. We'll put the piano outside because we've got a digital piano, right? So we did, and I did like a half a dozen just sort of handwritten invitations to my neighbors. I lived on a cul-de-sac, so it was perfect. So I did that. A dozen or so people showed up, at the end of their driveways with their chairs and whatever they were comfortable with. And we played music for about an hour and a half, and same result.
I wish I had been your neighbor.
Yeah. Everybody felt better.
Yeah.
Like instantly. So this is the piece that gets me the most about music and sound is it is instant.
Yes.
Sometimes when I perform, I see it in people's body language. I sing in 5 languages. And when I do a song like La Vie en Rose, I watch people soften like immediately. So I know the power of this for decades.
Yeah.
So after that first one, somebody from the next street up was there, and they said, can you come next week and do our street? And I was like, sure, great. Because I knew that this needed to be shared just as a service, right? And so, yeah, the next week we went up to the next street and did it there. And there was maybe 30 or 40 people, same thing. And then as people do with live music, wanted to start tipping. And at first I thought, no, that's not what this is about. But somebody actually gave me a little schooling on that in the beginning. They're like, you can't take that from people. If that's how they want to show their appreciation, leave space for that.
It's an exchange.
Yeah. Yeah, so I did. And it was actually funny. I had a Corona beer bucket that I
Oh,
picked
down
up,
to earth.
and that was our tip bucket. So that's my little sense of humor. Um, so yeah, so that went, and right away I realized, I thought, okay, I've got something that's helpful, not just for me and my musicians, but for everybody who's in proximity. So this needs to get out. So right away, my business brain said, okay, you got to put a form on your website. You got to get form the musicians. You got to go to other neighborhoods. You got to put some posters up. I drove around in my car with posters and put them on mailboxes in neighborhoods that I thought might enjoy something like that, and where they might have a cul-de-sac that worked well. By the end of the summer, we did 33.
Wow.
We had some
Wow.
weeks where we were doing 3 different neighborhoods.
Wow.
And because I'd set up a little business process, people could just fill out the form on my website, tell me their neighborhood. I would modify the poster with their address and their date. They would print it, hand it out to their neighbors. All we
Oh
had
my-
to do was roll up with our gear and an extension cord.
Oh, that's awesome.
You brought medicine to the people when they were
Yeah.
most hungry for it.
Yeah, and I, most musicians I think know how powerful music is.
Mhm.
I think it's really been labeled so much as entertainment for so long.
Mhm.
And really, I won't get into it, but the music industry is not very balanced. And for many years, it's been really not great for the musicians, right? It's a lot. It's a lot. Anyways, that would be another interview. I got some ideas for that too. Anyways, so by the end of the summer, we had done 33 concerts. It was very lovely. Every neighborhood, I will never forget. I'll never drive by a neighborhood and not remember what happened there, because everyone had some sort of special story, some sort of beautiful thing that happened. It was really a lovely experience. By the end of that, I remembered that I had completed semester 1 of the sound therapy degree program in 2014. And by the end of that summer, I said, I got to go finish that, because this is how I want to create impact in the world. I was doing performance over my life, and songwriting and recording, and, spending all kinds of time and money. There's my other PhD, right? All kinds of time and money to achieve some sort of goal that seemed to always be moving. And this, doing sound therapy, setting up a practice, I realized very quickly would check all my boxes. Being able to connect authentically with people. I love running my own business. I love the flexibility of that. Using sound and music, increasing my knowledge, helping others so that they can also ripple out. I love it when I get another practitioner of some kind that wants to include sound in some way in their business. Yeah, I'm your girl. I will help you figure that out.
I wish you were in Victoria for my clients.
Well, like I said, the part of what I'm doing is building my business so that it's actually going to be more mobile.
Okay.
Yeah, in a way that I also really enjoy teaching. So I've got some tuning fork workshops that have been successful over the last couple of years. I like that that teaching, that mentoring kind of relationship. There's lots of people in other modalities take massage therapy, for example, or yoga, who are doing sound therapy, but what are they doing? Are they doing it with some knowledge? Is it just intuition, which is fine, and sometimes not fine?
Yeah.
I have been in a sound bath where I knew the practitioner and I knew she had some good skills, nice instruments, beautiful heart. And this person did a great job right up until she put tuning forks behind my head and banged them together.
Uh-oh.
And that's a big no-no. Now, in her mind, she probably was doing that to be louder, to have more effect.
Yeah.
But it only takes 20 decibels of sound for the cells to respond.
Mhm.
And you never bang metal by somebody's head. It put my nervous system into full sympathetic. My heart rate doubled, my respiratory got shallow, and I was full flight or fight because I thought there was something dangerous near my head. I mean, I
Right.
knew intellectually there wasn't,
No,
but you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
well,
there's
the
a
nervous
lot.
system
Exactly.
doesn't, but there's a just, you can't access your brain and your reasoning when your nervous system is rattled. Like it's
Yeah.
just boom.
Yeah.
I had the similar experience when someone played a gigantic gong as part of sound therapy.
Perfect
And I just
example.
went into this place of, oh, I think I was a Japanese warrior. Why am I now in war mode?
Yeah.
Same
There's a
Oh,
lot to know. And there's a lot of people using these instruments incorrectly. I've had people come to me and say, "Oh, I don't like crystal bowls." And I say, "Tell me more about that."
Mhm.
Well, I was in the sound bath once, and I had to almost leave the room, and I'm like, well, that person was playing them too loud. So
Absolutely.
there's a lot of misuse of these instruments, which could lead to bad experiences. So I'm very keen to do more mentoring, coaching, consulting, whatever, to help people get best use out of whatever they have.
Well,
Because you
I
don't do
would sign
much.
up for that, Narissa, because I
Yeah.
have purchased sound, like the crystal bowl set, and
Yeah.
I noticed I've been playing with them, and some sounds don't resonate well together, and they're supposed to be a family, and I'm like, there's notes missing, or this note doesn't follow this note. Like, I think somebody got
Yeah.
sold a bill of
And
goods.
I can
You
help you
don't fit.
in 10 minutes with that.
Yeah.
Seriously,
wow.
I helped there's a minister up here who got a set of sound bowls and
Mm.
wanted to be able to bring them into his meditations, but he wasn't sure if he was kind of using them right or whatever. And I said, yeah, I'll drop by. Yeah, 10, 15 minutes. I gave him a little 101 on how to get the best out of his bowls. The big thing about a set of bowls like that is to know what the relationships between the bowls are.
Mhm.
So you want to get musical at that point. You want to identify what notes and frequencies your bowls are and figure out who is who. Okay. Who's the root? You can assign them to the chakras if that fits for you. You can find out where the harmonious intervals are, like the perfect fifth is very important in sound healing. The octave is very important in sound healing. And you want to know your instruments well enough to know where your octaves and your fifths are at least. Now, for the ones that don't sound pretty together, they have a role also. Dissonance is used in sound healing, sometimes intentionally, to help someone with a breakthrough. I call it a love shove.
I love shove. I love that.
So if I have somebody that I think is really close to relief in their body, they're really close to a breakthrough emotionally, I will love shove them. I will apply dissonance for a while to just bump that level of discomfort to open space for that breakthrough for them. And then I also know the proper use of harmony after, harmony and stability, right? I don't leave them dangling.
Brilliant. That's brilliant. In my language, we talk about the safety zone, the stretch, groan, and grow zone, and the overwhelm too much, like shut down nervous system
Yeah.
too much, right? So like what I hear as I'm, in my world, I'm listening to you and I'm like, all right, well, we're trying to get them out of their comfort zone because there needs to be some stretch, groan, and grow
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
some challenge, right? But
Mhm.
but like we don't want to go too far, but sometimes we go too far for a short time to get the shift, right? To get the shift. And so I love how you're relating this to frequencies and to your practice. Oh,
And it
brilliant.
must, you see already, it must be used not only intentionally and intuitively, because I also trust my intuition in the studio in as far as what instruments I'm going to reach for next. But there must be, I think, a base of education.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's so many people out there who are inadvertently doing more harm than good. based on
Yes.
lack of knowledge. And I have a
Yes.
huge respect for people who are experts in their field, which is why we created this series,
Mhm.
is so that people can become educated. Not only do they get to hear about your offering, but the fact that you have 2 PhDs, like you've studied sound and music,
Well,
right?
they're
You have
figurative
your,
PhDs, let's be clear.
oh, okay,
I think it's not legal to say I'm a doctor.
okay.
No, no,
Well,
you
had
mean with
education.
focus,
Yeah.
you mean with focus and study and experience
Exactly.
and digging deep
So,
into these
so
areas
just
as
to
if it was a PhD.
exactly, just to clarify, when I joke about having PhD, I have spent a PhD's worth of time
Yeah.
on a couple of things that I wish I had a certificate for,
Ah,
like
okay.
music business and homemaking,
Yeah, well, just
for
being a
example.
professional musician, people don't recognize that as a profession,
Yeah,
like something you study. You don't just pick up a musical instrument and start playing it. You have to understand the basics and the foundation of music. So
yeah.
when
Some people do. There are people in the
yeah,
world that are able to pick up just whatever, and maybe they remember it from last life. But that wasn't me. No, I had to
yeah,
study, and I did study. I had all through elementary and high school, and then a year of college in jazz, and then I returned in 2014, 2015, and did some a la carte upgrading. I never pursued a degree or a certificate in that though, because I knew that. mm, I couldn't think of a scenario that I would need it. I think people that want to teach music in some
absolutely.
way or go into music therapy would want to actually get the certificate at the end, and that wasn't the case for me. So I just enjoyed just the knowledge and then applying it to my performing and writing life. Uh, the sound the sound healing degree was actually over 500 hours, and the certificate took about 5 months, as I recall, to complete for the vibro-acoustic. So when I look at many of the other trainings that are being offered, and there's a lot right now, um, there's one saying sound healing certification, and it's 3 hours on a weekend, or,
Mhm.
it's a 2 day or something like that. And I'm like, sorry, I mean, certificate is a big word.
Yeah.
So, in the words of one of my teachers, actually, it's the wild, wild west out there right now.
Yeah.
It really is. And
Yeah.
to dial back, people are, what we were saying previously, people are potentially at risk of hurting someone
Mhm.
Yeah.
or not helping them
Yeah.
or
Mhm.
making their problem worse
Mhm. Yeah.
without the right education and the right tools. And there's a lot to know. I was studying for many, many hours and am versed enough to speak to pretty much any aspect of sound healing to whoever needs the information. There's a lot to know. There's a lot to know about sound and how to effectively use it for wellness.
Well, I'm really excited that you're in the process of making your business mobile because I think you'll get a lot of demand. And I know we don't have a lot of time this morning, so I'd really love it if you could also tell us a bit more about your retreat. So you just did one
Mhm.
last June, and you've got another one coming up next year. Can you share with us what that was all about?
Yeah, I'd love to. So my retreat in Greece, I did with a sound healing theme or thread running through it. I think that's very unique. A lot of people that go on transformational retreats do want some sort of a wellness aspect, something that they know they're going to be able to bring back home with them and integrate into their life. I have the good fortune of owning a home on the island of Skopelos in Greece, which is the island they filmed the first Mamma Mia on, which is amazing. This island is everything you see in that movie. There's some kind of special magic. This island will get into you, and I see it, on the groups on Facebook all the time. Huge groups for like Greek islands and stuff,
Mhm.
and all the time people saying, "Oh, I left my heart. Skopelos has my heart. I can't wait to go back." And it's one of these quiet, little bit off the beaten path islands, a lot of charm. So I thought, we want to spend more time there, and it just made perfect sense for me to run a retreat there. So I did in June, I did a full week retreat. We had sound baths every morning, and we had a couple of teachings. We had excursions that included a Mamma Mia sing-along, certainly going up to the church and to some of the beaches and, you know, the more touristy kind of fun stuff as well. So I will be repeating that in 2025. The dates have not been confirmed yet. I'm looking at June, but also September.
Oh, September's a
and,
great time. Yeah.
So if anybody wants to stay in touch about that, it's best just to get on my email. I don't do an aggressive email program. I don't like those. I send out an email once, maybe twice a month, maybe, and it's very short and sweet.
And what is your email?
Because we all get too many emails.
Yeah, I know. I do. When I send my once a month, it's 3 little things. That's it. I don't go on for, you know, scrolly. It's like, no, here's what's happening. Here's what just happened. Here's what's happening, and here's what's next.
Okay. Narissa, can you give us your email and your website?
Yeah, my email is info@seaofsound.ca, and the website is seaofsound.ca. And that's the best way to stay in touch for the retreat. I know I've already got a list of people that couldn't come in 2024 that are ready to hear the dates. So if you're interested, definitely reach out and stay in touch about that, because I think it'll happen quickly.
Yeah, and you rented a separate villa, right? So
yeah, we rented a villa there that was really worked well down in the south end by the bigger town. And I've got my eye on another one that's a little bit more spa-like.
Oh,
yeah, it has its own pool and stuff, which is kind of nice when you're, you know, because I gotta remember these people are also on vacation, and my program will not overwhelm with all the things that we have to do. I really think I created a nice balance between some sound healing practices, learnings, and activities with all the fun stuff, you know, just being on this island. And I liked the day. I liked the full week too. I think 5 days would have been too short. To go. Part of the charm of this island and the Greek culture is that you slow down and you leave space, and you just see what happens. Maybe you're just gonna have a nap. Then what? You know, maybe you're gonna go get a coffee and watch the ferry come in.
You're so in line with how we are creating our retreats, that
Oh, nice.
I know.
it's spacious and it's luxurious and it's got flow to it and it's informative and it's transformative and it's in a beautiful place that we can soak up. And so I just love hearing you speak about your retreat in Greece.
I know. When Narissa first was sharing it with me, I was like, oh, sounds like there's synergies here. We should see how we could do something together.
I know, because we're cooking up a retreat in Greece too.
Wonderful.
So yeah.
Where are you guys looking at?
Well, it's all to be determined. We're in research and development, but I would love to have another conversation with you at some point and stir the magic.
Yeah, for sure. I'm happy to share whatever I've learned so far too.
Yeah, you know, I at Ignite transformative events and in everything I do in my private practice, I am just thrilled to hear about your modality. And, you know, people are stressed, hungry, searching.
Yeah.
And I love what I do, but I know that we need every single person is so individual on what's going to come in that's going to help with that realignment and with that release. And I know that it goes way beyond just, you know, we need to expand beyond the loop that's going on here, right? We need to expand beyond it in some way. And when we reach the nervous system with resonance, and it's just, then we can expand the loop here and we can expand the loop here. But like, we've got to attend to the nervous system first.
Yes.
Always. Yes. And so when I am excited to come and have a treatment with you, I'm excited to share your mobile services with my clients in Victoria. And I'm excited to stir up more magic with you in whatever way we do.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to tell you something that you're probably going to be very excited about, because there's a lot of research in this field right now. There's I got to interview Dr. Jeffrey Thompson a few weeks ago, and he has the Center for Vibro-Acoustic Research.
Wow.
His company has discovered and patented some things, and one of those is a way to find the frequency of homeostasis for each person, which stays the same your whole life. So talking about tuning the human body, this is a whole other level. It's an amazing time to be doing this work as well.
I can't wait to talk to you more and learn more. It's just beautiful. And I just really appreciate your time and your wisdom and your passion and everything that you're bringing, because the world needs each and every one of us to be lit up and to be sharing our gifts and to be in alignment at this time. And so I just really see that you are one of our illuminators.
Great. Well, I'll be happy to meet with you guys the next time I come to Victoria. My daughter lives down there as well. So,
oh, we'd love that. And Narissa, before we sign off, we just want to ask you, when you're feeling in a challenging place or really stuck about something, is there a theme song or a mantra or a quote
or a tool?
Or a tool that moves you through that? And if so, what is it?
Yeah, there's a few things actually. Physically, getting back into the body means getting my feet on the ground, and my preference would be at the ocean for sure. Getting my feet in the water is a great technique for me. I'm also a big fan of earthing. If you're not aware of what that is or how it's, please watch the documentary on YouTube called Earthing. It's a game changer. I recommend to all my clients. I sleep earthed as well. And a mantra, if ever I'm starting to feel overwhelmed or anxious, is that I just say, I'm exactly where I need to be. I am exactly where I need to be. And I'll just say that with whatever resonance feels right in my voice in that time. The other thing that I do with sound is I listen to 80s music. Because I cannot be in a stank mood if I'm listening to 80s music. That's just my pill right there.
Give us, off the top of your head, give us a song. Which
gosh,
one?
like anything from the early 80s, Bryan Adams, Duran Duran, Bon Jovi, anything, just go for it, turn it up, because it actually also reminds the cells of how you felt then.
I'm thinking of Living on a Prayer.
Yeah. And I'll just turn it up until I feel better.
Yeah, and here's where I see our age difference, because for me, it's disco. I spent so many hours in a disco dancing until like I would get on the floor and almost stay there the whole night. I would occasionally come off to drink something, but then right back on that floor again. And
so when people are looking at finding that feel-good music, just look at the music from your formative years. So usually when you were a teenager is a good one to look at. Yeah, it's a music therapy trick.
Oh, good to know. Okay, so for our viewers, think about the music you were listening to during your formative years. So really from the age of puberty right through.
Yeah. And sometimes that was a hard phase for some people. So in that case, look at a year that you were really happy and go look up the music from that year. I do that all the time in my Spotify and YouTube. I'll just put in 1982, 1984, see what comes up.
It's amazing, isn't it, Narissa? When my mom had a stroke, and my mom was in a care home, and my mom lost a lot of function and speech. But when I would go visit her to do her nails, I would put on music, and she would be pretty non-responsive at the beginning, and then we would be singing.
Oh yeah.
To Singing in the Rain, or I went back for her to her time, and all the words would come back, and the whole resonance would change, and then the engagement would change. And I loved how in her care home they had a music therapist that would come and see her once a week.
Wonderful. They just need a sound therapist. So if you write this down, musicandmemory.org, is a website. It's a company in the States that run by a lot of volunteers, and they are doing just that. So why does music help people in those situations? I have some songs for my dad as well that I will use the same way. So why does music help people in that way, in those situations? Because when we listen to music, it engages more of the brain, especially if we're singing it, right? But engages more of the brain there's parts that Alzheimer dementia has blocked access to, but music gets in through a different route. There's a documentary on YouTube, highly recommend watching, called Alive Inside. And it's exactly that, where you'll see they come into the care home with the music player, with that person's playlist that they've worked on with their family or their caregiver, and they use it like a medication. This person's having a really tough week or a tough day, and they put in their happy playlist. And these will be songs from their formative years, from the year they graduated, maybe from the year they got married or whatever. And that person will come right back to life. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I've witnessed it. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love this topic. It's one of my favorite topics.
Watch that documentary. You're going to love it.
I'm going to. I wrote it down.
You'll cry.
Yeah, the idea that music and sound affects us physiologically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. It's just so holistic. I know that's part of what I'm on the planet to do. So I'm looking forward to being mentored by you. And I want to thank you so much, Narissa, for your time today.
My pleasure.
It was an absolute blessing, and I encourage all of our listeners and viewers to check out Narissa and her wonderful gifts. Is there anything anybody wants to say before we finish for the day?
I have one last seed, and that would be if you begin to consider your relationship with sound as a nutritional relationship. Consider if a sound is good for you, helpful, triggering, or neutral, and then decide what or if anything you need to do about it.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. All right. Well, I think you've just gifted us with so much inspiration and food for thought, sound for thought.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Have a great day, ladies.
We look forward to more.
Yep. Yeah. More of that.
Absolutely.
The world is changing, the world's on fire. I wanna do my part to inspire change. I wanna make my home a sanctuary of love and peace and harmony, and be the change I wanna see. The earth is my home, the earth is my mother. We will never have any other to help renew, rebuild, rebirth, a new way to be on earth. I wanna ignite, catalyze, take flight, burn like the sun, dispelling the night. Help humanity find its way back home. I wanna unite, stand and rise, shine bright, bring the truth into the light. Help humanity find its way back home. Come and dance, come and sing, come and pray.